Hey people of the VC, it's Andy. This time I've got a competition response video for Mike Allen. Mike, for those of you who don't know Mike, he's a fellow metalhead, been with the VC for a few months now. He's having just a quick competition. He's got a few download cards for album 6am, I think, two albums that he speaks very highly about. He decided to have a competition to give the download cards away because he has no use of them. And what he asked for is he started talking about Man of War in his video and the fact that he hated them when he was younger, but recently he started listening to some of their stuff and now he loves them. So it was a two-part question for the little comp he's running. First was name an album that you liked or you loved when you bought that you can't really stand now, and then name another album that you didn't really like that much when you first bought but now absolutely love. So I'm kind of struggling to come up with anything that I'm really passionate about with this one, because most of the stuff I bought when I was young I still really like now, and there isn't a lot I bought that I didn't really like. But I found something for the purposes of the video, so let's dive straight in. First of all, an album that I liked when I bought it, but then subsequently never listened to anymore, and that's Europe, the Final Countdown. I did enjoy this when it came out. So I grew up kind of in a fairly isolated metal world. None of my friends were into metal, so most of the stuff I had to find out for myself through magazines or the odd radio show that was on the Friday Rock Show in the UK. So I remember it being this big thing when rock music was getting played on the radio, and when Europe kind of came out, the Final Countdown obviously was played a hell of a lot on the radio. I kind of got into it, and I kind of jumped on the bandwagon, the crest of the wave, and I bought this, and I spun it quite a few times. I remember enjoying it, but after a while, and slowly but surely, it just started. I guess I was hearing it too much. Certainly, a Final Countdown, and then the fact that people that I knew weren't into rock music liked it as well, and it became really popular. And then I have conversations with people, and they say, "What type of music do you like?" And I say, "Oh, rock and metal." And they go, "Oh, do you like Europe?" And it was the only rock and metal band that they knew, and it started grating me that this was my music, not your music. I mean, I don't know if the songs I think are generally fairly weak anyway, and considering this was brought out in 1986, and you look at the other albums that were also released in 86. So Appetite for Destruction was released in 86. The Testament, The Legacy, Wasp, Live in the Raw. There were some great albums being released in 1986. So I had to write some of these down so I could remember them all. But thrash metal was just emerging and becoming mainstream. And then there was this, and I've played it once in the last. So I started really collecting records again in the sort of early 2014, and I did put this on, and I sat through the whole thing, but I haven't played it again since. I just really kind of dislike it now, mostly irrational reasons, but there we go. So that's probably the closest I've got to an album that I did like, but I was never in a position where I loved it and I hate it now. I don't think I ever loved it. I enjoyed it and then really kind of grew away from it. Now, second part of the question, an album that I didn't really get on with when I was younger, but now really love, and that's in fact, it's a whole artist. I had very little from this person. Bought one album, quite a later one, towards the 80s, because I kind of figured I really had to get into him. I didn't know that much to know really what the classics were, and that's Ozzy Osbourne. and the album in question is No Rest for the Wicked. I really couldn't get on with Ozzy's voice. Certainly in the 80s. I didn't really know much of the Black Sabbath stuff in the 80s. Wasn't interested at all. Didn't know a great deal about some of his earlier stuff. I'd heard it occasionally, and I wasn't that into it. But I remember seeing this in Spiller's Records in Cardiff, where I grew up, and I thought, yeah, what the hell? New Ozzy Osbourne album. I'll give it a go. I'll put it on, and I just didn't enjoy it. Just didn't click with it. I found his voice a bit grating. And yeah, as simple as that, and hardly ever played it again since when I first got a turntable again in 2014. I was playing through all my old 80s records, and I put this on, not expecting much, and I loved it. And it's just got some great songs: Miracle Man, Devil's Daughter, Crazy Babies, Breaking All the Rules, Bloodbath in Paradise, Fire in the Sky, Tattoo Dancer, and Demon Alcohol. I just think they're all great tracks, and since then I've started to build up and got quite a few Ozzy on vinyl. Not quite a complete set for the 80s yet, but I've got lots of gaps in my collection, and one day they'll come, and as and when I find them, I pick them up. But I really like Ozzy now, so there we go, from zero to hero with Ozzy Osbourne. I'm going to stop it there. Do check out Mike's channel. He deserves a lot more subscribers than he's got at the moment. Great guy. As I say, he mainly shows metal. He doesn't just show records, he also gives his opinion on them. And the best thing is, I don't always agree with that opinion, so it leads to some good conversations in the comments, which is what I love about the VC, when people engage with each other over and above just the videos themselves. So I'll leave a link up there somewhere, and a link down below as usual in the description. Thanks for running the competition, Mike. It was nice. Enjoyed doing that one, and I will see you again soon. Cheers.